Trading is easily complicated by beginners. They think it's all about having 5 price action setups on their charts daily or trading with the most expensive indicators in the market. But what I found out is that most traders who are really successful in the market, just like I, the trading chief, and a dozen others, always have a very simple trading strategy that makes them almost look like an idiot while trading them. In the past 3 months, I have made more than $100,000 in trading profits, and I posted everything on my Telegram channel with my community, both my entries and my exits, and I was only able to do this by using a very simple concept in the market called the trend lines. This particular trend line strategy that I use is very simple, but mind you, it's not like the usual strategy that you know about trend lines. This one is really different from the popular ones you know, and to help everyone get more understanding of this strategy, I call this trend line strategy the family structure trend line strategy, and every single part of the family structure is very important. But before we get into all of that, do well to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you are encountering us for the first time. Now my tribe, let's get down into this business. The first thing you need to understand to get this concept to work for you is to first of all understand how trend movements start, not by joining the trend, but by knowing exactly when it is starting so you can take full advantage of it. And this is the interesting part. There are 2 respected trends in the market, the uptrend and the downtrend. To understand how the uptrend start, you need 3 price movements to identify that. You need this price movement, this other price movement, and this one. There are 3 steps in this formation, and here is the anatomy of it. So right here we have a low from the former trend, and then we have this high here, and then the market formed a higher low as it was moving higher, and then, after that, the market will give us the last point, which is the higher high. And when you see this complete price movement, which signifies the uptrend, you can trade almost any trading strategy in the market using this particular trend formation. And this is when you draw out your trend line on those 2 points, the first low and the higher low. Now, on a downtrend, it follows a similar pattern, but now in reverse. So we start from the high, which comes from the former trend, which is the uptrend, and then we have the low, and after that the market moves up to give us a lower high, and then it comes down again to give us a lower low. And after that, the downtrend formation is complete, so we can now draw our trend line from the first high and the lower high. This is how all downtrends form. We can trade them from this point with a lot of other trading strategies, and also trade them in bigger sizes, or even smaller sizes of the market structure. But for this trading strategy, we need to keep it very simple. So we are going to trade it from the bigger structure to the smaller price action setups or market structure. This is the family tree. It is like doing a top-down analysis on one time frame. So here is how we are going to do this. Now, you already know that in a well-structured family, it's always the senior ones that protect the juniors. And also when it comes to receiving gifts or even sharing meat, the senior ones will take a piece of meat before the junior ones. This family pattern is what you are going to use to remember this trend line strategy and the structure behind it. So, to trade this, we need to see a bigger trend structure, moving in a trend direction, and currently on this chart, you can see that we are moving in an uptrend. So first we need to see this uptrend movement and get a large retracement. Make sure it's a large retracement and not a short one like this one here.
Nope.
So when you have that large retracement, that is the father, the number 1. And after that, we wait for the market to start another uptrend movement inside the retracement. This smaller uptrend is the mother. This is what is going to move the market price for our setup. This one is the trigger of the gun. And without this, the strategy won't work at all. Check it out. Without the mother in the family, they won't even be a family at all in the first place. And without a trigger in a gun, it means that the gun is useless in all ramifications. So, it is highly needed for this setup to work. All you need to do is to get a little uptrend price movement like this. Inside an uptrend retracement, right here we have the low, and then we have the high, and then we have a higher low and a higher high. So this makes our setup complete. With this, you will get a perfect setup for your trade, and when you have this perfect setup for your trade, you are already 80% into getting a good trading signal. What you need next is the children for this strategy. And for this, we are going to pick just one of the children. The first child, we called this children the entries. And we use this entry to get the sniper points of our trades. These are the bullets for our strategy, and come to think of it, When there is no child in the family, there is actually no family, because a family is composed of a father, a mother, and the children. Take the children out of the family, and all you have is just a married couple. You don't have a complete family. And if you take out a bullet from inside a gun, then even the trigger is useless, because there is nothing to trigger out of the gun. So you need a gun, a trigger, and a bullet for it to become a complete gun. And you need a father, a mother, and a child in order to make a family. And the child of this strategy, which is the entry, is called the engulfing candle. There are many children like this that we can merge to this family, such as the pin bar, the doji candle, the morning star, and the rest. But the engulfing candle actually works best for trend lines, even more than the pin bar and the rest. So with this, the family is complete. So what makes up this family? First, we have the father, which is the overall trend retracement. Then the mother, which is the smaller trend formation inside the retracement. And then we have the child, the engulfing candle, which is our entry for this signal. And with that, we have a complete family for our trade. This is a complete setup. Now, let me show you an example of this setup on the chart, uniting our 3 family members together on a setup. So right here we have a very good example of this setup. Currently we are trading here in the downtrend. See how the market was previously moving in lower lows and lower highs before this bold and big retracement. That is the father. And after that we need the mother, which is a downtrend price formation inside that retracement. Check out this beautiful retracement. Here we have a high, a low, and then we have a lower high, and then a lower low. And with that, we have the mother part secured. So we can draw out our trend lines on the high and the lower high. This is the setup we are working with. And after drawing our trend line, we wait for the market to move up and touch our trend line. Please note that if the market goes too far from the trend line before returning, we cannot trade it. Most times when this scenario plays out on the chart, it means that price have quietly left that setup. And what the price is coming back to do is to break out of the trend line, give you a wrong signal, and then move opposite of your target price movement. If you want the best out of this setup, what you must do is that you must always wait for an average trend line price movement like this one. Make sure it broke that last low, but never trade it if it has moved too far from the breakout point, as this will only give you a losing trade. This has been backtested multiple times and trusted to be true, but when you have this type of price movement, you are free to trade that setup, and that leads us to the next step, which is the entry candle. Now, what we need here is a bearish engulfing candle, because we are working with a downtrend on a downtrend retracement and a downtrend setup. So when we see the bearish engulfing candle appear, after touching the trend line, we know that it's right time to take a trade. So we take the trade immediately after seeing the engulfing candle, and then we place our stop loss at the top of the engulfing candle and our take profit target at the next low. And as you can see here, our take profit target was hit successfully. The major aspect on trading is that if you follow a set of rules to the last rule on a well-researched, backtested, and a working strategy, you will start trading effortlessly. Now, let me show you another example of this setup on the chart. And this time we are trading an uptrend. So according to our strategy, the first thing we will look out for is to get a good uptrending price movement. And here we have it. You can see that the market was moving in an uptrend. Then after that we look out for a big uptrend retracement. This particular retracement must be wide enough and not small, something like this. And when we have that, we are 50% into the trade. So the next thing we begin to look out for is an uptrend setup. And at this point here, we have a qualified uptrend setup. Here we have the low, then we have the high, and then the higher low and the higher high. So it is at this point that we can draw out our trend line at the low and extend it through the higher low. And the next thing we will be expecting is for the market to return to the trend line after giving us the higher high. And now, the approach that the market moves with when returning to the trend line will determine if we are going to trade it or not. And right here we had an average movement from the market before returning to the trend line. So we are confident enough to take this trade. But we need one more thing left, the engulfing candle. And this time we need the bullish engulfing candle. And right here, you can see that we had a bullish engulfing candle after the market touched the trend line. It is this bullish engulfing candle that gives us the ticket to get into a trade. And after entering the trade, we place our stop loss below the bullish engulfing candle setup and our take profit target at the next high. And as you can see on this example, This trade was also a successful one. The great thing about this strategy is that you can trade it on any time frame, from the 5 minutes time frame to the daily time frame, depending on how you want to finesse the market. But make sure you trade it on a time frame that will not give the market a chance to finesse you. Else you will no longer be trading like an idiot. You will then end up becoming the real idiot in the market. If you want to join our Trading Signals group, the link is down in the description box below. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.